Bamba presents Gotcha Roast Pork.
Hi guys, welcome to my We're in Isolation kitchen. Today I'm going to make gotcha roast pork. This is from an anime show that I used to watch. It was my favourite. It's called Food Wars, and this is from the first episode. It's essentially a massive mashed potato loaf covered in bacon and then has a red wine reduction pod over the top of it. We're going to make the vegan version just for you. Here's the list of ingredients that you're going to need to make this dish. There's 3 parts to this recipe. The first is making the bacon. If you want to skip ahead, do. The second is making the loaf, and the third is making the jus. This is the bacon part of the recipe. We're going to be using the Nigel method, which you might have heard of if you are in the Seitan Appreciation Society, or there's a few videos on YouTube. It's my personal favourite. So the basic ingredients that we're going to use are here: red miso, onion powder, paprika, garlic powder, a bit of cumin, salt, pepper. Then we've got Henderson's relish, liquid smoke, agave nectar for a bit of sweetness, tomato paste. We're going to mix that with vital wheat gluten and chickpeas. Okay, you just add all those ingredients into a little blitzer. Blitz it all together. If you've got a food processor, use that. I have the most basic equipment, so just put it all into like a little blender, shoved it all in, essentially made super duper flavourful hummus. And now we're going to mix this with 2 cups of vital wheat gluten. So we just want to give this a really good mix, incorporate everything together to make a good seitan-y dough. So this is about the time where I start using my hands. As you can see, it's starting to get quite doughy. That's a little dry, so I'm going to add some of the aquafaba left over. Now, beetroot would give you a much better red, but I don't have any. And now we're going to make the fat layer. 1 cup of gluten, flour, the rest of the aquafaba, some salt, salty fat, since it is a fat layer, a tablespoon of oil. There is our fat layer. Now we have 2 bits of seitan. We've got the meat and we've got the fat. So if we divide this into 4, now we're going to make some streaky bacon. Alright, so we've sandwiched together a bunch of the seitan. I'm just going to roll that out so that it all sticks together. Try and neaten the loaf up as much as possible. I'm making this the night before, however you can use it straight away, put it in the freezer for like an hour, or refrigerate it for a bit just so that it solidifies, so that when you slice it you get a nice clean cut. Now we've pre-made the bacon, it's time to get on with the rest of the recipe. Look at the ingredients that we're going to use today. First we're going to put a pan of water on the boil, and then we're going to peel and chop some potatoes. If you don't want to waste the potato skins, then you can cover them in some oil, salt and pepper, paprika, or whatever you want, and pop them in the oven and you've got some crisps. Pop those in some boiling water and leave them for about 20 minutes. You don't want them to get too soft. We're going to dice 1 large onion and a few mushrooms. I've got some dried shiitake mushrooms that have been soaking and a handful of white mushrooms. And now we've got a mix of onions and mushrooms ready to be cooked. Pour some oil in a pan and let that heat up. Once you've got to temperature, just pour in your onions and mushrooms and we're going to saute those. Once your potatoes are cooked, drain them off and just pop them in a bowl to mash up. Pour in your mushrooms and onions, mix it all together and then pop it to one side to cool down. You want to be able to handle the mashed potatoes so that you can make the loaf without burning yourself. Yay, bacon! Take your bacon loaf, slice it up really thin, and then roll out the slices so that they're easier to wrap. So we want long pieces that are quite wide that we'll be able to put around the mashed potato. Ooh. Now the potatoes had some time to cool, we can start making the loaf. Lay out bacon slices and try and fold them into each other so that they're easy to wrap around. Scoop your mixture over the top of these slices, then Fold the slices into each other so that they don't fall apart in the oven. Smother that bad boy in cooking oil, olive oil, whatever you've got on hand so that it gets really nice and crispy in the oven, and put a few bits of rosemary over the top of it so that the flavours can soak in too. Get that loaf into the oven on 200 degrees for about 20 minutes. Whilst that's in the oven, we're going to make the red wine jus. Pour 1 cup of red wine into a pan, let it simmer for about 10 minutes and reduce by about half. Use a good red wine, or if you're using a really crap red wine that you found in the back of the cellar, add some agave syrup in because it's disgusting. Once that's reduced, stir in 2 tablespoons of butter. Now add 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1/4 cup of sake, and let it simmer for a couple more minutes. Now we have a really nice rich red wine reduction that we're going to pour over the roast as soon as it's out of the oven. When your roast is done, remove the rosemary and pour the sauce over the top of the joint. Then put a few sprigs of parsley over the top of it so that it looks really pretty. It looks delicious, so now we're going to slice it. So, here it is, my gotcha roast pork. Thank you for watching, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments.